The following video today is brought to you by SwagBucks. SwagBucks is a great way to earn things like Amazon and PayPal gift cards, by often doing things that you would have done anyway. Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out more. Ethan and Hila Klein are two of the most well-respected people on this entire website, with them rising to fame with their reaction videos. But in the past year or so, people have noticed that they've shifted their focus away from their main channel to their new project, the H3 podcast, with many people asking, what happened? To understand why the shift occurred, we first have to take a look at where they were when they started up the podcast. At the end of 2016, when they decided to start it up, they had been riding the YouTube wave for quite a while and built up a sizable audience. With inspiration from people like Joe Rogan, starting a podcast was something they wanted to do for a while, and they launched in December of that year. While it started off as a side project, I'd say it was a saving grace for them since a few months after it started up, backlash by advertisers on YouTube started that caused what is now known as the adpocalypse.
For ourselves, it continues to get worse to the point where we don't think that we can continue to even exist the same way that we have on YouTube. The problem is that YouTube, in an effort to bring brands back, has given them the tools to not put ads on anything that might seem controversial, but it's so blunt and it's so stupid that it is destroying our channel and our livelihood.
This was the event that caused YouTube to become extremely strict on what was monetizable on the site. And H3H3 was hurt worse than most since he often made edgy jokes that would now get you a yellow $ next to the video, meaning you wouldn't make much off it. Because of this, revenue crashed on his famous reaction videos. But the thing is, the new H3 podcast didn't appear to be affected that much. This is when Ethan's focus changed. With this, a lot of people noticed that they took effort away from their main channel content and placed all their energy into the new H3 podcast. While this upsets some, you have to realize the monetary difference between both business models. Let's first take a look at the monetary compensation they receive if they make a high-quality H3H3 video. Ethan and Hila spend all week coming up with ideas, writing out jokes, recording, then meticulously editing it all together. In return for all that work, the video gets a yellow $, meaning they might make $1,000 off that week's worth of work. Now with that in mind, let's take a look at the money to be made from the H3 podcast episodes. Instead of an entire week worth of work, Ethan may spend the morning of the podcast coming up with a few questions for the guest and other subjects to discuss. Then they go live that same night. First, when it's being streamed on Twitch, they'll get money from subscribers and ad revenue. Then when they put it up on YouTube, they'll get Google AdSense. And they're also paid for all those sponsored messages that happen during the podcast. Next, they cut up the podcast into multiple chunks and upload them to the podcast highlight channel and make even more money off ads. On top of all this, they're now doing episodes in front of paying audiences, which is yet another revenue stream. I did a little bit of math and made a few estimations from personal experience, and I can confidently say that they make upwards of $100,000 off a single episode of the H3 podcast. So what would you rather do? $1,000 for one video or $100,000 for one podcast? I know I made these examples as extreme as possible. Not every single one of their main channel videos get the yellow $, and for the podcast they have to pay for workers behind the scenes as well as space to record them. But still, even with all that accounted for, they make so much more money off the podcast that it makes sense that their focus is there. It's sad that the couple behind some of the funniest YouTube videos of all time can't find a way to make them more profitable. But that's the sad state of YouTube right now. If you dare make an edgy joke or remark, you run the risk of not only having your video demonetized, but blacklisted behind the scenes with no official way of fighting it. Another point I feel the need to bring up for their shift is that H3 was in its prime because of the state of YouTube in 2015 and 16. Back then, pranksters were becoming so outrageous that the material often wrote itself, and they had go-to creators to mock. Nowadays, they just have the Paul brothers, who in my opinion are not nearly as entertaining to ridicule. I don't hold it against Ethan and Hila for spending a little bit more time on the podcast nowadays. In fact, I'd probably do it myself. For years, they scraped by trying to become big YouTubers, facing people trying to shut down their videos as well as lawsuits. So it's only fair for them to make a little bit more money now and move on to the next chapter of their lives. Before I finish this video today, I just want to give a big shout out to my sponsor, SwagBucks. SwagBucks is a great way to earn things like Amazon and PayPal gift cards, by often doing things that you would have done anyway. Gaining SwagBucks that can be redeemed for these rewards is as easy as taking research surveys, watching videos, playing games, or shopping online. Every time you do one of these things, you can earn more. Fun fact, SwagBucks actually kinda helped me in a way start up this channel all the way back in 2009. I went on the site every single day and earned up enough Amazon gift cards to buy myself a Dazzle capture card device, and I used this to start making my early videos. So in a way, I have to thank SwagBucks. And it's funny that a decade later, they're sponsoring me. To sign up for yourself, click the link in the description down below and start earning free cash and gift cards. On top of this, you'll get an extra $5 bonus by using my link. So again, I really want to thank SwagBucks for sponsoring my video, and until next time, thanks for watching.
Allons, en garde, allons, allons.